Garden Hill is a community, First Nations community along the north shore of Island Lake. Island Lake is a fly-in community. No roads, nothing, only accessible by winter road. It's not like these southern lakes, which I hear are contaminated.
My land is so peaceful. I go snowshoeing, I go rabbit snaring. This is life.
I mean, if you look at the land and how beautiful it is, I mean, one of the images on the table here was used in an online article with National Geographic, and I made sure I always make sure I put Garden Hill, because I'm proud of my community and I want to make sure that people know about Garden Hill.
But we know from our ancestors, from our parents, our grandfathers, we know that we've been using this land, and they tell us that it's ours. It was lent to us by the Creator to use to feed our children and just to live off the land. This is important. And the governments don't recognize oral teachings, like saying things, doing things orally. This is how we grew up. This is why it's important now that we have to have something documented on a map, like areas where we hunt, where we fish, where we collect our medicines, where we do our ceremonies, where we know our burials. There's burials everywhere. Because a long time ago, when they traveled, they did a lot of traveling. They only come together only in the summer times, which is at the old post. And in the fall, they all disappear into the forest. While they traveled, the stories I hear is they lose their loved ones. They just do the funeral right there where they are. So all these travel routes, we know some areas where our people are buried. We only know a few, but I believe there's more than what we know, what's out there. So we would like to keep those areas the way they are, intact, not disturbed or no construction, or especially the river systems, hydro. That's why we really want to protect the Island Lake River. That's why we said we don't want the east side road crossing Island Lake River.
That's it. I'm trying to save our land. Like we use it for lots of purposes, like hunting, trapping, fishing, and collecting berries and collecting medicine, Indian medicine. It's really important to us, and I would like to see that with our people to continue using our ways of life.
When I was a child, I used to go out with my parents, and maybe my teen years, I would go out our trap line areas towards the northwest. Please call Old Post down to the Island Lake River. We lived in the city for a few years, and when we moved back, we had and there was this huge power line with these high tension power lines with the towers and everything. It basically felt like it cut right across our land, And I thought, wow, my kids and grandkids are going to see that, and they're not going to know what it was like to not have that there.
What I want to see is our people to have control over the land. They know not to destroy it. We are supposed to be the caretakers of the land. And what we are given there is everything, but we can't touch it because of the governments. That's why we are so poor in housing. We can't even get to the trees. We have a lot of medicines everywhere. Those two, we don't have access, telling us not to touch anything. There's a fish. We gotta have access to fish. We gotta get our economic development up and running, which is supposed to be a big part of our livelihood up there. Sustainable development is what we're after.
I like looking after these chickens. It's something new I've never done. Can't get too close to them though. Emotionally attached. I like them. They're cute. I didn't know anything about farming or planting stuff. When's the best time to plant, how to plant it, and when to water it. So I learned all of that.
So when you think about certain, I guess, what they would call progress, you know, you start to worry, what is it going to do to the land? And you hear horror stories, you know, from other First Nations communities or regions.
My husband, years ago, worked. They came up here, the crushing rock company. He went and worked with them for a few weeks. Says, oh, those men are very racist, you know. But only his boss was really nice to him. When I heard about this mining that came to us, like it broke my heart because I was thinking about my grandparents' trap line, and I was thinking, what if they lose it?
Sustainable development is what we're after. This is what we're after, sustainable development. The most important thing is we have to get our people to start eating off the land, not from store foods.